Between Heaven and Earth, an internet radio talk show where we help you connect spirit and divine guidance. Lisa Kay, your host, brings you shows that can enhance and transform your life with tips and new ideas for more happiness, abundance, and better relationships. Lisa is an expert on intuition and can show you how to strengthen your inner guidance to empower yourself. Each show is positive and uplifting to inspire your day. Her guest speakers are specialists on self-help, positive thinking, spirituality, and conscious living. Be the best that you can be with Between Heaven and Earth, conscious living for your soul.
And angel blessings to everyone. Our show today is called How to Keep Your Spirituality Going in Business. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about spirituality first, and then we're going to bring on our guest, Jacqueline Grant, who's going to talk to us about keeping your spirituality going when you're at work. So let's begin. So I'm sure you're asking, well, maybe you're not asking, but some of us ask, I have asked, what is spirituality? Now, I always thought I knew what it was, but when I was thinking about it, I realized, do I really know what spirituality means to me, or for that matter to other people? I think spirituality starts with a question. That's usually how it starts. And like most people, that's how it started for me. And it started with these 3 questions a long, long time ago. What is the meaning of life? Why am I here? And what does God or our Creator want me to be or do? And I've been asking it, like I said, these questions for a long, long time, since I was 8 years old. And that's a very long time. And so I guess I've been seeking these answers for a long time. And I don't know that I have gotten the answer. But I'm continuing to find the answers, and I have gotten some answers, and it's helped me. And you might have asked these questions too, or maybe you've gone further and asked some other questions like, is this all there is to life? Is there something more? Is there something bigger than me? Or maybe you've asked, how can I feel more fulfilled and happy in a way that's lasting? That's a big one. I mean, a lot of people ask me that when I am doing my consultations with them. So when you ask questions like these, by looking for the answers, you're starting your path of spirituality. You might not know it, but you are. And again, we might not be able to find the exact answers to these questions, and it's probably a never-ending process, but by seeking the answers, we can find that the revelations that come to us through the answers come to us in a deep way for each of us. I've noticed that for me, and I've noticed that for other people as well. And that's probably the most profound thing about being on a spiritual path, is that as you're seeking these answers, you're going to find that your own life experience is going to answer them. And many times it's a way that transforms you. And hopefully it's going to transform you into a more complete and satisfied person. I have found that for myself. So the first step in spirituality is to have questions. And then the next is to seek those answers to those questions in a way that feels right for you, so that the spirituality becomes part of you and is unique to you. And as you find things that are working for you, you begin to build your own spiritual practice, which keeps you on this path of having a more fulfilled life and hopefully a happier life. So here are some spiritual concepts that might help you find your own spirituality, and we're going to talk a little bit later with Jacqueline about doing it specifically in work. So the first thing I'd like to kind of put out on the table right away is that spirituality is not a religion. Many people say they are, quote, spiritual but not religious. But religion, on the other hand, always has a spiritual aspect to it. And according to Wikipedia, spirituality is, quote, an inner path enabling a person to discover the essence of his or her being, or the deepest values and meanings by which people live. So religion gives spirituality a framework, but you don't need to follow a particular religion to have spirituality. And we, in this show, I embrace, and the show embraces all religions. There's no one religion that we endorse, and that's actually falls along with my own personal beliefs that I believe all religions lead to the same place. So, and I also think that it's best for you to discover for yourself things that are meaningful for you spiritually. So if a particular religion gives that to you, that's wonderful. That's great. I found for me that several religions have concepts and practices that have meaning to me. So I've gathered those things and I've created my own beliefs. In seeking, your answers to life questions, you're going to build some spiritual beliefs, or you may, if you wish to, based on the answers that you are finding. And you build those beliefs on those answers that you choose to accept, that feels right to you. And that's how you build your own personal spirituality. And it's probably easiest to discover spirituality through the everyday things that you do. And so how do you do that? Well, the process might be like this. You start with a question, and the question might be, how do I be more fulfilled in life? Or how do I find fulfillment at work? Or some people might ask, what is my life's purpose right now? And I believe that your life purpose can be many things. And if you're able to find it, that you're going to be in alignment with what your soul wants you to be, what your creator wanted you to be. And then you're going to have all the wonderful energies of the universe behind you, because that is your purpose, right? And that's what I believe spirituality helps you find if you so choose. So you may want to answer some of these questions by looking inside yourself to find the answers, since we all have that divine guidance within us. And thinking about divine guidance might lead you to other questions, which might be, is there something bigger than me, something outside of me that I can connect to answer these questions? And I choose to believe that there is something bigger than me, and that I can receive that divine guidance from whatever that is and get the answers. So as I work with these kinds of beliefs, they're going to bring me results and answers, and that strengthens my belief and my understanding of this spiritual path that I've created. And I think that's the true meaning of spirituality. It's creating a path through your own discovery. And that's what life is all about. It's all about that inner discovery and that external discovery as you're going through life. And that's going to help build your spirituality and your spiritual practice. So one of the things that you might want to do is pick some practices that work for you. And one of the ones that I like to do is mindfulness, and actually three things: mindfulness, prayer, and meditation. And those are all spiritual practices that help you stay centered, and they help you improve your connection to your inner self, and they help you receive more clearly the divine messages within. And when I ask people to let me know what areas of spirituality they want to work on, many of them come back and tell me they want to know how to be more connected strongly to spirit, more connected to their higher selves, how to receive that divine guidance more clearly. Now, being mindful helps you be present in the now. It allows you to be aware of your intuitive messages that are your inner guidance. And if your mind is constantly racing towards the future, or if it's stuck in the past, you're not going to be aware of what's happening right now. So you want to quiet that, and mindfulness and prayer and meditation help you do that. It's really a centering technique, if you will. And all of your inner voice messages can really only be heard when your mind is still and you're in the present, in the now. Meditation is especially helpful for quieting your mind. And I won't go into what meditation is right now. That's for another show. But it really helps strengthen your ability to notice the inspiration that you get, which is, from spirit, that you receive all day. So, and meditation also helps you connect to parts of your consciousness that tap into that divine inspiration. Meditation is really a wonderful thing. Some religions believe or philosophies believe that meditation is what helps, or is the way, the only method that you can get to enlightenment. I wanted to talk a little bit about what prayer is, and it doesn't have to necessarily be like this big religious thing. I believe that prayer is a request and an intention. And when you pray, you're often asking for, say, divine grace. And you should believe that when you pray, that and you're asking and you're requesting, that you're going to be given that grace. Otherwise, why would you ask, right? So by setting this intention, having that prayer, you're to receive your inner messages, your divine guidance, you are believing that you can receive them, and that belief helps you manifest it with co-creating with the universe. And when you ask a power greater than yourself, you're letting responsibility of it go. And that's a wonderful thing, that you can just let go and then not feel like you are always in control. And that's, I find, is very relieving. It really releases a lot of tension and stress and helps you go forward in whatever happens in life. People have always asked me, well, how, these things that are not so great that happen in your life, how can you, they would want to have control so it doesn't happen again. But, things work out in a certain way. And I always try to see that, there's a meaning for what has happened, and that's, letting go. So this all helps in allowing your connection to spirit to grow, or, to the divine. And as your connection's going to grow, you're going to receive more and more insight to these questions that you have. And you can ask, the questions that we talked about earlier, and you're going to get answers. So connecting to your inner guidance, to, some people believe it's angels and spirit guides, is really a wonderful way that you can get that divine guidance and be able to start building your path to spirituality. So we're going to go to break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how you can keep your spirituality going in business with Jacqueline Grant.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. Om Times Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single Om Times endeavor. Host your show with Om Times Radio Network. Simone Milasas would like you to know that business can be fun, which is why she wrote the book, Joy of Business. What if you could have the joy of business rather than the stress and struggle? Most of the time, the only thing stopping you from a thriving business is you. In the Joy of Business book, Simone gives you access consciousness tools and pragmatic ways to get out of your own way and to create the business, life, and living you know is possible and beyond what this reality says is achievable. Business is joy. It's creation. It's generative. It can be the adventure of living. You can purchase your copy of the book through Amazon or Joy of Business website, www.accessjoyofbusiness.com.
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Elia, in the circle on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
And welcome back. This is Lisa Kay, and you're listening to Between Heaven and Earth. And we've got a wonderful guest today to talk about our topic, which is how to keep your spirituality going in business. So when you're at work or you're doing your business, does it sometimes feel like it's hard to maintain your spirituality? Many of us who spend time nurturing our spiritual side find that when we go out into the world, especially the business world, we reluctantly leave our spirituality behind. So how do you maintain your spiritual approach to business? Today we're going to talk to Jacqueline Grant, an executive and entrepreneur with 20 years of experience running her own business called the Management Academy, and how she maintains her spirituality at work. So let me tell you a little bit about Jacqueline. Jacqueline Grant is the owner and director of the Management Academy, as I mentioned, and it provides a full circle of business management consulting and professional development courses. From entrepreneurs and small businesses to large-size corporations, the Management Academy provides consulting and coaching into career development, business marketing, leadership, and personal growth. Jacqueline Grant is a professional trainer, speaker, author, and certified project management professional. And her passion and enthusiasm for teaching and lifelong learning are the key elements which make her effective with her clients. Hello, Jacqueline, and welcome to our show.
Good afternoon, Lisa. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you for joining us. This is a wonderful topic, I think, and you're the perfect person to talk about this. And I know your main business, what I do is more along the lines of, quote, spirituality. What you do in your business is really probably on the other end of the spectrum. So I think the first question is, what role does spirituality play in your business?
Well, for me, spirituality is everything in my business. Over the years, obviously, it has grown as I've become more in tune with who I am and what my natural God-given gifts, talents, and abilities are. I've been able to utilize that and accept that as who I am, and those are the gifts I have for the world. And so as I went through corporate America, in positions where I was challenged as far as being myself and saying the things I would want to say and being guided in certain ways to act in a certain way and being challenged in, let's say, a work environment, I knew that eventually I had to become an entrepreneur because I knew I had to do things a certain way in order to be in my own personal alignment.
It's interesting. So did you find that working in a corporation got you out of alignment with, that seems like what you're saying. How did it get you out of alignment with what, who you are?
Well, there were times where I was either asked or it was implied that I should act in a way that I would normally not do. And so I had to choose whether I was going to be true to myself or if I was going to do what was asked of me. And so enough of those experiences basically told me I need to be in a situation where I can control my own destiny.
Mm-hmm. Do you think people who, do you think it was possible for you to maintain your spirituality, say in corporate, for those people who are still, not on their own, not an entrepreneur?
Yes, it is possible, and I did do that. And in many respects, I became an example that many others wanted to also aspire to do on their own as well. It was important for me to, again, be in alignment with who I am and sometimes go against the grain. And going against the grain many times proved to be a very good thing. There were times, obviously, it was not met with a positive response. However, I knew that operating any other way would have even more detrimental consequences for me and my reputation.
Right, exactly. So how do you bring spirituality into your business now?
Well, it is the guiding force for me. It helps me in my decision-making processes. It has helped me to determine who to do work with. It's
really? I'm sorry. Let's stop right there. It's helped you determine who to do business with, who to do work with. How does it work?
One thing that I do is I pray and I meditate, and I get into alignment with how my body feels. And when I feel good about something, I have a certain feeling within my body. And when something is not in alignment or not for me, I get a different feeling. And being in tune to those feelings helps me in my decision-making process. For example, many people can align with, let's say, something happening and they get a feeling in their gut. Maybe a tightness or a sinking feeling or whatever it might be for any individual. That feeling is associated with something negative. Likewise, if they hear some news, that news, if it's negative, gives a certain feeling within the body. Or they might have, as you talk about intuition, they might have a feeling and not really be able to put their finger on it, but they have a feeling about something, and it's that same sort of feeling that they might have within their body, whether it's in their chest, in their stomach, maybe some other part of their body, their head. And when you become in tune with the different feelings and see the patterns and the trends of when you experience something and what happens around that experience, you start to feel what your body is trying to tell you and what your spirit is trying to tell you.
That makes total sense to me, absolutely. And that inner divine guidance and so on, I think, is very important to listen to. Do you feel it's you, or do you feel it's coming from something else?
Well, early on, obviously, I would ask the question, is it me or is it God or my higher power? It's often a matter of being in tune with yourself and really being open to what is being shown to you. And with practice and over time, as you have more experience, you'll be able to tell the difference. If it's something that you just want to see or if it's what's really being shown to you.
Sort of it builds your relationship. Do you believe that you have a relationship with God?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have had so many numerous experiences where I know it is nothing but God. It's those experiences that gives me the confidence as I go forward to know that as I ask for assistance and guidance and help, I know I will receive it because it has happened so many times in the past. So it's about building the relationship, building the trust, having the experiences, and thus, as you have more experiences, you have more confidence going forward.
Do you have an example of where it worked out for you, where you got that guidance?
For example, I will share with you when I purchased my home, I moved from another state and I was self-employed. And I did not know that in the state where I purchased, that they were going to ask for me to have employment in the new state. Now, I'm an entrepreneur, so I basically work anywhere. I have clients all over the country. But they were requiring that I should have employment in the state where I was purchasing the home. And obviously that was not possible. But months before, while I was coming to look for a home on different visits, I met someone, and just give you the short of the story. I met someone who asked me to do a job for them as a consultant. And this is someone I met on the plane that I sat next to, and we struck up a conversation, and he had a particular need that I could fulfill. And I did that job for him, and he was in the state where I was purchasing. But I had not moved here yet. I had not purchased the home yet. But I think you can see where I'm going.
Synchronicity.
God provided that person.
Yeah.
So that I could prove that I had work in the state where I was going before I ever even needed it.
Wow, that's fantastic. I love that. I love those stories that, the universe sort of brings us, God brings us things, they just pop up and then you have to listen and go, oh, this is really an interesting synchronicity.
And that's not by accident. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe it's a matter of being open and asking, as you have said in your introduction, and being open to receiving what God has for you. And when it happens, you just have to know that didn't happen by accident. It's
exactly.
Because you asked.
Exactly. Did you ever have any business situations, business dealings where you felt that was taking you away from being spiritual? And, a lot of people have that. There's conflict and, sometimes I think you touched a little bit on it earlier about where you felt you couldn't be as spiritual as you wanted to. So what situations did you have and how did you deal with it?
Well, for example, there are times when I have had clients that either have been federally funded or government related, or even from a corporate standpoint, the corporate philosophy would not want any religious connotations to whatever I presented or any information that I would talk about. And I really just have to be who I am. And I have found that although those premises may be in place officially or unofficially, being true to myself often turns out to be the best way to go. Mm-hmm. And I'm often acknowledged and appreciated for that, despite whatever might be written policy per se. And obviously, if I know that going in, I'm not going to just automatically go against whatever the requirements are. Right. But I let them know how I operate, who I am from a standpoint of my professional way of operating.
How do you be spiritual and not religious?
I go by what I'm guided to do and what I'm guided to say. And if I am true to that, it's always the right thing. And why I say it's always the right thing is because that's what whoever I'm saying it to says. I can't tell you how many times I'm guided to say something to a client or a customer, and I could possibly second guess myself and say, well, maybe that's not appropriate, but I go with what I'm guided to do, and that person 99% of the time says, you said just what I needed to hear. Or they say something along the line of, that's just what I needed, or I was looking for someone just like you. Something along that line that gives me confirmation that perfect. I said the right thing. And if I had not been obedient to that,
well, that
perfect. Would have been a missed opportunity.
Yes, that's the perfect thing. You got to go with what's being told you from inside. Well, we're going to go to break right now, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Jacqueline Grant.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Hi, my name is Monica and I'm the host of Co-Creating Now. Give yourself an opportunity to connect with your all-knowing higher self and manifest joy, love and peace together every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at Om Times Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. Om Times Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Do you have time to read that inspiring book or that blog post you've been meaning to get to? In your busy world, how do you improve yourself and keep your life going? I'm Lisa Kay, and my Between Heaven and Earth radio show can transform your life just by listening. Be uplifted with inspiring topics, positive stories, and ideas that really work. Between Heaven and Earth Radio is conscious living for your soul, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
And welcome back. I'm Lisa Kay, and you're listening to Between Heaven and Earth. And we are here having our discussion with Jacqueline Grant, and we are at our halfway point here, a 30-minute mark. And this is where I usually do a little bit of announcements. And I wanted to talk to you a little Jacqueline's work, and that she has out there a wonderful, obviously, a business that she runs. And you can go visit that at her website, and the website is called successthemanagementacademy.com. I like that, successthemanagementacademyway.com. Don't forget the thus. So, and Jacqueline, for all our listeners out here, is giving us a very special offer. She's now offering a free 20-minute or Skype consultation where she can answer your questions to help provide clarity to you on your business or personal goals. And this offer is only good for the first 10 listeners. You send her an email. What you need to do is go to her, contact us on her website, which again is successthemanagementacademyway.com. Go to the contact us page and just send her an email and say you're requesting the free consultation, and you'll get that, which is, I think, a great deal. And she also has an upcoming webinar called Turn Your Passion into Action. It's going to be on Monday, May 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, if you'd like to join that, you can just go to her website at successthemanagementacademyway.com and go to the Contact Us page and ask for the Turn Your Passion into webinar information, and she'll send that out to you. And so, Jacqueline, is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
Well, I am just very passionate about what I do. I really enjoy helping people to utilize their gifts, talents, and abilities that are naturally within them to get from where they are to wherever it is that they would like to go. And I just really enjoy supporting people to help them to do that.
That's what spirituality is all about, right? It's like finding your path in life, and what is it that your life passion, doing that spiritual path. And then, Jacqueline, it sounds like you've got the perfect offerings for people to do that.
I would love to be able to help your audience. Lisa, thank you.
Oh, great. Awesome. That's wonderful. Well, I have my Developing Your Intuition online course, which is opening up. It's actually open now for registration. We don't have it open very often, but it's out there. And we also have a bunch of free videos that's running for the last couple of weeks, but they're coming down. So if you want to go get those before they disappear, I think they're disappearing in about a day. So because we got to get our online class started and going. And we already have a bunch of people signed up, which is really awesome. The Developing Your Intuition online course is a comprehensive class that goes over all the things you need to develop your intuition from scratch, just like I did. And I started from nothing. I was not intuitive. I didn't know how to, much less being, quote, psychic. I learned how to do it, and I got to the point where I was so good that I usually sold out at public events, get an appointment for an intuitive reading. So I figured this is so important because it's part of how you get guidance, how you your divine inner messages to put you on your path, your life's path. And so I teach people how to do this now. I've taught probably hundreds in various levels of how to develop their intuition. And we cover the things that are most weighing in people's minds. And you don't have to have any experience. This is like for everybody and anybody. But we answer questions like, how do you get the difference between a real intuitive message and when you're making it up? We answer that for you. How do you get your intuitive messages more consistently? How do you control your intuition so you can get the messages about what you want to know? And also how to get more detailed information from your intuition. So we go over all those things, over metaphysical energy, how to protect yourself from negative energy, and how you might be able to use your intuition to help other people if you want to do that. I mean, it could just be a friend or family member. And those are all the things that we go through. You also science behind the intuitive mind, how the psychic life works, and how to meditate, the easy meditation. It's very, very simple. And how to do practice. The practicing is really important in anything. And I've honed exercises and practices that you can do to really ramp up your intuition super fast. So the class is open now. If you want to go and sign up, you can go to intuitiononly.com And what's there is actually 4 free videos, and they're primers. They actually give you a little sample of how I teach, and also some really great techniques that you can get yourself started for free, and also information on how to register for the class is in the videos. More detailed information for your intuition. So go do that. And you know what's really cool? Actually, the nice thing is I've already got comments on these videos. I'll read a couple of those to you. This came from a woman named Patricia. She said, I love the way this lady explains things. She gives examples and lets you know in detail how things work. Take some of the confusion away on developing your intuition further. And Carol said, very well and clearly explained, taking intuition out of the woo-woo realm. Thank you for this clarity. Really nice things out there. We've had people from all over the world watch. I'll just get a name. I think it was like tickling me pink. I think it was awesome. Sweden, Denmark, Croatia, France, United Kingdom, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, Switzerland, Austria, even Nepal, Taiwan, and then all over Canada. A lot of wonderful people out there in Canada, if you're following me. I know I've got some great fans there. Ontario, British Columbia, Manitoba, Quebec. My favorite, Quebec. I love Quebec. And all over the country. So join them. Why don't you come over and look at those videos? They're free. Better go quick, though, because they're coming down in about a day. So intuitiononly.com, sign up. And if you want to learn more about me, you can go to my website at lmk88.com and sign up for my newsletter and find out what I'm going to do next. So let's go back, and we're talking to Grant, owner of Management Academy. And we're talking to her about how to keep your spirituality going in business. Right, Jacqueline?
Absolutely.
I wanted to find out from you how, when you're a business person and you're an entrepreneur, you have to go out and sell your wares. Otherwise, you don't get people, to be your customers. So a lot of times people who are, they've used when they want to do spiritual business, and that's the book that we're actually is going to be coming out that I wrote with my co-authors called Grow Your Spiritual Business, coming out in November. But that's one of the things that we're thinking about, is that a lot of people who are in spiritual business feel like, I can't, if I sell, I'm pushing, it's so unspiritual. So how do you go out and sell and market yourself and still feel spiritual?
That's a question I receive from many of my consulting clients as well, especially those who are starting new businesses. They often say, well, how do I promote this business? How do I ask for the business without being pushy, without being unspiritual? And I reflect back to a service that I attended with my pastor a few years ago, where he talked about Joseph, who was the person who could interpret dreams, and he was given visions and dreams and so forth. And he was told that the famine was coming, so he was able to warn the people that the famine was coming and to store up the grain. So they did that, obviously. And when the famine came, God told Joseph to sell the grain, not to give it away, but sell it. And when I give that example of selling the grain from a biblical standpoint, many people see the purpose in that is the grain must have a perceived value in order to be appreciated. And so must the service that you are providing. It must have a perceived value, or the grain as well as your service may be wasted. And so it's important to have a fair value for your service, because obviously if it's not, quote, market value per se, as not as valuable as it truly is. That's not to say if you want to provide a discount or some other type of way to value your service for one customer versus another based on their ability to pay, you can definitely do that. You are the entrepreneur, you're the business owner. You can set any price strategy that you like. However, what I have found work for particularly is that I often can do a scale that may be able to pay the going rate. So there are always options, and you as the owner of the business has the opportunity and the flexibility to be able to create whatever kind of pricing structure that you would like to do that would be in alignment with what your spirit is telling you to do.
I love that. I think that's great. And, I like that it really is sort of the value is important, that, what you're doing in your business, it has value. And it's interesting how people, if to feel there's any value. I think that's kind of an emotional, kind of an instinctive kind of thing. And, but it's true. And I find it's interesting that Joseph sold the grain. So that's interesting. So what do you do? You're a very spiritual person, and been together and working together. What is it that you do at home to maintain your spiritual life?
Well, I do many things on a daily basis that have become daily habits. And that's not to say I'm so rigid that I do every single one every single day in order. It's based on how I feel, what I am responding to based on what's given to me from my surroundings. For example, I do meditation. I do prayer every day, being thankful for having another day to be of service to the world. And so I also utilize music. And even within music, while the same song might be playing for the world on a particular radio station, I believe that I'm hearing that song at that point in time to give me a particular message, of something in the song speaks to my spirit. I find that sometimes a song will stay with me, and that might be a way of a message being conveyed to me from God or from my mother who has passed on, or any other angel or spirit that wants to, if I'm open to it, because they are still small voices. And if we take the time to hear the whisper can really speak to us.
Absolutely. And my whisper is, I'm hearing the music coming up for the break. So we're going to go to break, and then we'll be back with Jacqueline Grant. We'll see you soon.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Imagine receiving healing, vibration-raising energy as you listen to the radio. Energy that flows effortlessly to you. Imagine exploring all things metaphysical, sharing in an ongoing adventure. Join me, Karen Smoot, along with my co-hosts Lisa Victorson and Wendy Weber, for Immersion into Source, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Om Radio.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. Om Times Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single Om Times endeavor. Host your show with Om Times Radio Network. Om Times Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Om Times, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness in action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. Om Times Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids.
And welcome back. I'm Lisa Kay, and you're listening to Between Heaven and Earth, Conscious Living for Your Soul. And we're talking to Jacqueline Grant, who's talking to us about spiritual business. And we were about how to keep it going in business and when you're at work. And, what is all that spirituality stuff about? Because if you are building your spirituality or you're on your spiritual path, then you should be doing that in every aspect of your life. And hopefully it'll help you get to where you want to be, fulfill your life's dreams, your life, and so on and so forth. So Jacqueline, I was thinking about this during the break. One of the things, again, that spirituality does, hopefully, is not only helps rejuvenate you within and keep you uplifted and refreshed, from perspective and a personal perspective. But I believe, if you are really connected and you are following some spiritual path, that it's going to have your life's passion, or maybe that becomes your dream career. So when you with people to find their passion, and as you say in your webinar, turn your passion into action. How do you do that? How do you work with others to live that life's purpose?
Well, Lisa, one of the things that I do, again, on a daily basis, items that I mentioned earlier, is visualization, and being able to visualize what I would like to be able to see, do, or have in service to others. And being open to visualization and open in that prayer meditation, combining together, it allows me to know how to be of service to anyone that I encounter. And even going back to your previous question about how to sell and still feel spiritual, I basically have a conversation with someone, and I'm hearing what their particular needs are and determining what they are. And so if I apply that need or refer them to someone else who can. So coming from a perspective of being of service as opposed to being me-oriented, I think is a real game changer. I think that's a way to read across that and true, because it is about the other person and being of service to the other person. So if I'm coming to the world from a position as a me situation, I'm trying to be a problem solver for the other person. And sometimes I can be that problem solver, and sometimes I know of someone else who would be the better problem solver for that particular person. So that provides a value for the receiver, whether it's from me or someone else. They're getting their problem solved or the answer to their question. So I'm not really selling, I'm problem solving.
So what do you do with people who say, well, what my life's passion is? How do you help them find it?
Well, I ask them, for instance, one question is, what is something that you enjoy doing that if you could do it all day long, what would you do? What have you enjoyed from childhood that came easy to you, that you could do that every day and truly enjoy doing that? And if you didn't have to worry about, love to do that every day.
That question. One of the things I found in working with people, one of the things I've been doing is helping people rewrite their resumes to get a job, and it's actually been working quite well. We kind of approach it the same way, but what I discovered and what I believe is that all throughout your life, doesn't matter what you do and what job you do, that we tend to do things that we really enjoy. So, I think, let's say, for example, I have a friend who she had one kind of job, which was not really doing administration or organization and administration and planning kind of work, but she loves that kind of work. But that was her job, but she always did it, and she did it whether she was in the job that wasn't that, or she did it throughout her whole career, and she even did it as a volunteer because it was her personality. It was one of the things she loved to do, and so she was always doing it.
That's her natural gift.
Yeah, and it was her natural gift. So what we did was I helped her reorient and help her recognize that that's really what she loves to do and rewrite her resume. And it was very successful. She actually got a job right away after, a year of not finding anything. So
that's awesome.
It was really gratifying because I think for me and I assume for you, when you work with people and they start to do what they love to do, they blossom. They turn into beautiful, happy, great people. And finding out what that is, I think, is really important.
It truly is. What I have found many times with the clients that I work with and the students that I have, which are adult students in maybe job transition or looking to change their career, they often are looking for something stage in their career that they really enjoy doing as opposed to something they have to do for income. And what I help my clients to do is to either identify their passion or re-identify their passion and learn how to make money in that passion as opposed to doing something for the dollar that they may not truly enjoy, because that will manifest other physical ailments, doing something that you're not in alignment with.
Absolutely. Now, how do you do that? How do you get somebody who's got or they've discovered they love what they love to do? Maybe it's fly fishing, example, or maybe give us an example. I'd love to hear it.
People think that, well, what I really enjoy, I couldn't make a living at. But you really could, because the amount of energy and time and research that you might do to educate yourself or to go into a job or a position that you're truly not in alignment with, you could take that same energy and put it into a strategic plan to do what it is you really want to do. And that's what I utilize, for example, management training and so forth, in my business management training, to help my customers to be able to develop a strategic action plan for their passion job, their passion career, so that they can have a step-by-step guide to do what they truly want to do for the balance of their life.
Do you, can you recall any specific person that you walked this through? Could you give us a little story?
Actually, I have a former graduate that was laid off from a position that she held for over 15 years. She was very much ingrained in that company. That was really, much of her personality was wound up in that position. That was her identity. She worked for this particular company as such and such a position. And when she was laid off, she was mortified. She lost her identity, and she was really downtrodden because she felt very much wronged by the company. And when she came to my program, as opposed to setting goals for moving forward, she kept looking backward as to what was done to her and why it was wrong. And I had to really help her to reposition herself, to look forward and to set new goals. So long story short, we worked together to set some new goals and to do research on her new career that she wanted to go after. And she said, I want to be a consultant, and I want to be a consultant where I will never have to be an employee for any one company again. As a consultant, I can work for multiple companies at the same time, simultaneously if I want. And that's what I want to do. And I helped her to set those goals and to do the research and all the other things that went along with her particular strategic action plan. And would you know, by the time she finished the program, actually before she finished the program, she had interviewed with the company that she wanted that she set the initial goal for to work for as a consultant. She interviewed with them, she became a consultant for them, and by the time she graduated, she started the very next week.
Wow. Awesome. So that was...
The power of goal setting is wonderful, and it's about being in alignment with who you are and what your gifts, talents, and abilities are from your higher power.
Right, and finding out what that is, so that I think that's what most people are looking to do, is trying to find out, what is it that is my passion, what is it that's my is going to be the thing that I'm most in alignment with. And
yes, and having the confidence to go after it.
Yes, and I guess that goes back to your Turn Your Passion into Action webinar, which is, you might have a passion, you might know what it is, but then you have to actually act on it and make it happen. Right?
Yes, and having the supportive environment provide to help you to really go after your dreams and know that it is possible and that others are doing the same thing. So you have that camaraderie with you as well.
Absolutely. And I think when you do that, then you really are doing your on your spiritual path.
Well, Lisa, one of the things that many of my clients say is that I'm so passionate about what I do and I want to be as passionate as you are with what I do. And that makes me so happy because I truly am very passionate about what I do and how I am able to work with really great people. And I want to really help them position themselves the same way I did, because I wasn't always in this position to be able to be overjoyed with who I work with.
So it's your gift to give it, and that's serving others.
And I use my gift. It's a gift that needs to be given. We don't get a gift to keep for ourselves. The gift is to be given. And when I can give my gifts and it helps others to utilize their gifts, I can't ask for anything better than that.
Absolutely. Well, let's the listeners your website again. It's themanagementacademyway.com, and you can reach Jacqueline out there and look into her business. She can help you find your passion, find your dream career, and get you going on that. Jacqueline, thank you so much for being our guest today.
It was my pleasure, Lisa. Thank you so much.
And you've been listening to Between Heaven and Earth, Conscious Living for Your Soul. We're right here on the Own Times Radio Network. And we're here every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for listening in. Angel blessings, everyone. Talk to you next time.